I had no idea I was leaving free money on the table every single paycheck. When I started my first job out of college, I was making $22 an hour working at a bank. I was contributing to my 401k, and my employer was offering an 8% match. Well, here's the thing, for the first 2 months, I was only contributing 4%, half of what my employer was willing to match. It wasn't until I did my own research that I realized what I was actually missing out on. Think about it this way, your job is literally writing you an extra paycheck, yet somehow people are either ignoring it or don't realize how to claim it. Once I realized this, I knew I had to make a change. And once I fixed my own situation, I started looking around at my coworkers, people who had been there longer than me, still leaving free money on the table every single paycheck. Today, I'm going to make sure you don't make that same mistake. But before we dive into the video, drop a comment below. Does your company offer a 401k? And if so, how much are they willing to match? So you may be asking, what is a 401k? A 401k is an employer-facilitated retirement account that companies offer their employees as an additional investment vehicle to grow their wealth over time. Think of it as an upgrade to your investing strategy. Your paycheck comes in, a portion gets contributed to your 401k before or after taxes, depending on which type you choose. And that money gets invested and grows over time. The key difference between a 401k and the other accounts we've covered in this series is that it's tied directly to your employer. You don't go open one at a bank or a brokerage on your own. Your company sets it up, selects the plan provider, and offers it to you as part of your benefits package. And if you're not taking full advantage of it, you're leaving serious money on the table. And in a minute, I'm going to show you exactly how much money that actually is, because the number might surprise you. Here's the most important thing I want you to take away from this entire video. Most employers offer what's called a company match, meaning for every dollar that you contribute to your 401k, they will match it up to a certain percentage of your salary. And this is the single most powerful element of the 401k. Let me show you exactly what I mean with my own situation. At my first banking job, my employer offered an 8% match, and for the first 2 months, I was only contributing 4%. My employer then matched that 4% and stopped. I was leaving the other 4%, real dollars that my employer was willing to hand me, sitting on the table every single paycheck. Once I realized that, I fixed it immediately. But let me put this into perspective with a broader example. Let's say you're earning $60,000 a year, and your employer offers a 6% match. If you contribute at least 6%, your employer adds an extra $3,600 into your account every single year. $3,600 you didn't have to earn. $3,600 going straight into the market, compounding and growing over time. But if you're only contributing 3%, your employer matches 3% and stops. You just left $1,800 of free money on the table. $1,800 that could have been compounding in the market for decades. Contribute at least up to your company match every single paycheck. Anything less, and you're handing free money back to your employer. But here's where it gets interesting. Not all 401ks are created equal. The type you choose could be the difference between paying thousands in taxes later or keeping every dollar of your growth completely tax-free. Now let's talk about one of the most common points of confusion when it comes to 401ks, traditional versus Roth. Most employers will offer you both options, and understanding the difference actually matters. A traditional 401k takes your contributions pre-tax. The money comes out of your paycheck before the government takes their cut. This lowers your taxable income today, which means you pay less in taxes right now. The trade-off? When you withdraw the money in retirement, you'll pay income taxes on it, at whatever your tax rate is at that time. A Roth 401k works in the opposite way. Your contributions come from money that has already been taxed. The growth is tax-free, and your withdrawals in retirement are completely tax-free as well. So which one did I choose? I went with the Roth 401k, and here's exactly why. I'm 24 years old. I know my income is only going to grow over the course of my career, which means I'm likely in a lower tax bracket right now than I will be in the future. So I'd rather pay taxes on my contributions now while I'm at a lower tax rate and let everything grow completely tax-free from that point forward. For most young people who are earlier in their careers and expect their income to grow, the Roth 401k is often the stronger long-term play. But everyone's situation is different, so do some research and decide which option makes the most sense for you. Now, once you've chosen your 401k type, most people just set their contribution percentage and walk away. But there's a step almost everyone skips that could be quietly costing them thousands in lost growth, and I only found it by accident. When you first enroll, your company will likely put you in what's called a target date fund, or a TDF. This is essentially a pre-built portfolio that automatically adjusts based on your expected retirement date. And on the surface, it sounds convenient, but here's the problem. When I went through the details of my own 401k plan, I found that my target date fund had me investing 20% of my money into bonds at 24 years old. Bonds are a defensive investment designed to protect your wealth, not grow it. And right now, I'm not trying to protect wealth. I'm trying to build it. So I went into my plan and chose my own investments. My employer offered a list of 38 funds to choose from. These ranged from S&P 500 index funds, global funds, mid-cap, small cap, and I was able to build an allocation that actually aligned with my risk tolerance and growth goals. This is the step most people never take. They set their contribution percentage and leave everything else on default. But your investment allocation inside your 401k matters just as much as how much you're contributing. A 24-year-old and a 45-year-old should not have the same investment strategy. Go into your plan, look at what you're actually invested in, and make sure it aligns with where you are in life and where you want to go. Now I've covered how to maximize your match and optimize your investments, but there's one more thing I wish someone had told me before I left my first job, because it cost me $1,500 that I thought was already mine. Let's talk about the vesting schedule. When I left my first banking job to go to another institution, I had about $4,000 in my 401k. I called Fidelity to roll my funds over into my new company's plan, and that's when I found out only $2,500 of that $4,000 was fully vested. The remaining $1,500, the portion that represented my employer's contributions, wasn't actually mine yet, because I hadn't been with the company long enough to earn it. I had no idea this was even a thing. A vesting schedule is essentially a timeline that your employer sets before their contributions to your 401k are fully yours. Some companies have cliff vesting, meaning you need to stay for a set number of years before any of the employer match belongs to you. This is the case for most companies. However, some have gradual vesting, where you earn a percentage of the match each year until you're fully vested. Either way, if you leave before you're fully vested, you could be walking away from money you thought was yours. This is especially important if you're someone who job hops. It may be worth timing the transition between jobs strategically so that you don't leave unvested employer contributions behind. I learned that lesson the hard way, but I'm sharing it with you now so that you don't have to. Now that you know how to protect your money when you leave a job, let's talk about the actual limits on how much you can put in and when you can access it, because these numbers might be higher than you think. So let's do a quick housekeeping on the numbers. In 2026, the IRS allows you to contribute up to $23,500 per year to your 401k. That is significantly higher than the $7,500 Roth IRA limit, making the 401k an incredibly powerful tool for accelerating your retirement savings. Your 401k is designed for retirement, so you can begin making penalty-free withdrawals at the age of 59 and a half. If you withdraw before that age, you'll face a 10% early withdrawal penalty on top of any taxes that are owed. This is money you want to leave alone and let grow. So before I wrap up, let me give you the 3 things I wish someone had told me on day 1. Because if you apply just these 3 things, you'll be ahead of most people your age. Number 1, always contribute up to your employer match. Every dollar they're offering is free money. Don't leave a single cent of it on the table. Number 2, know your vesting schedule. Find out exactly when your employer contributions become fully yours. If you're thinking about changing jobs, factor this into your timing. Don't lose $1,500 the way I did because you didn't know this existed. And number 3, make sure your 401k plan aligns with your investment goals. Go into your plan, look at what you're actually invested in, and adjust your allocations to match your risk tolerance and your stage in life. These 3 steps alone will put you miles ahead of most people your age. And that's the whole point of this channel. Not to make you feel behind, but to give you the tools to get ahead. No matter where you're starting from, the fact that you're here and taking your finances seriously puts you in a better position than you were yesterday. And that's all that matters. If you haven't already, check out the other videos in this series, the checking account, the high yield savings, and the Roth IRA. All those videos are going to be linked right here. And subscribe because the next video covers the brokerage account, the final piece of the wealth building puzzle. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I genuinely appreciate the support, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.